Hey everyone, Angelo here, Hollywood filmmaker, greatest screenwriter in the history of the world, recovering hobo. Ignore the lotion. It's been a week, my first full week, unemployed, looking for work, networking. So, how'd it go? That's what you've all been talking about. You brought it up, so let's talk about it. I'm looking around different places. I even looked on Craigslist a little bit, and it's funny. That used to be my go-to place to look for anything. Now, not so much. I guess I got tired of seeing all the fake posts and obvious scammers, especially for apartments. Although I found this place on Craigslist. And we're being evicted now, but we're not sure how that's going to go yet. We may get the lease signed over to us that live here. I'm not sure. The guy I rent from, who has the apartment in his name, may work out a deal with the landlord. I'm not totally sure. For now, all I know is I don't know. You know? I've been looking for jobs, I think pretty much exclusively in entertainment. Been just trying to be well, getting up early every day, trying to sleep well, that's a big one. I often wake up at like 12:30, 1 in the morning. I get up at 3:40 in the morning normally, but I'll wake up sort of in pain, partly because I'm just hungry. Like lately, I've been eating more of my calories and macronutrient goals, like hitting them earlier in the day. And it's partly just because I'm hungry. So then I won't eat the rest of the day. But if I haven't eaten in like 12 hours and I'm like biking so much, like I biked 20 miles on Friday. And that's not necessarily a lot for some people, but for me, it's a lot, especially on my little street cruiser bike that is not as high performance as a high performance bike. And it kind of wore me out. And I'm working out a lot. But, anyways, and so I wake up feeling pain, like inflamed a little bit. And I still am just so stressed and traumatized from being sexually harassed at my job for 6 months and all the hell and torment I went through there, like day after day. It was never okay. Like, it was just horrifying. Even after I reported it to HR, like I could barely sleep the next few days. Like I was calling like, abuse hotlines and stuff to talk to people at like whatever hour of night. And it still just keeps coming up because the guy was just a manipulator. Anyways, I don't want to get too far into that now already because especially if I talk about it closer to night, which I do sometimes, and I'm seeing a therapist, although now my insurance lapses. So great system we have. I guess people stop getting sick. That's the beauty of our country. People stop getting sick a month after you lose your job. And so you don't even need your health insurance. And that's how they decided not to give you health insurance after that. And why can't you just either get your own health insurance that works and is affordable without a job, or better yet, just have it be a universal system where the rich pay for it and prices are controlled and all that? Anyway, it's because America's got to be great. America's got to be greater than every other country, and we can't have what they have. What was I talking about? I'm looking for work. That's going fine enough. I'll see if I hear back from places, but I'm still looking, still applying. I get job alerts. I look on different sites. I'm trying to tailor my resume as much as possible, as much as I can think to. I'm not an expert on resume writing, but I try and have accomplishments rather than responsibilities highlighted on there. And that's something I heard somewhere. I think it may have been the YouTube channel Life After Layoffs. By the way, I got to say, those videos and channels have great resources, and they're so informational, and they say things that are absolutely true, like HR is not your friend. They are not. I reported sexual harassment. I reported a manager threatened me. They assured me, oh, nothing's going to happen to you. And it all went exactly how I thought it was. I could not be disappointed when they found no wrongdoing of anybody. And then I was laid off about 8 months later. So, what was I talking about again? I keep getting on tangents. Trying to eat healthy and all that. I started going to the food bank. That was another thing. I rode my bike to the metro, then from the metro to the food bank, and then with all my food loaded on me, I gotta get more like portable foods, like protein bars and stuff with low sugar, so that it'll last longer. I forgot, like what to pack now that I don't have a car when I went there. But anyways, I biked a lot to get to the food bank and go on the metro and back. And I may do that once every week or two, at least until I get a job. because it takes like 3 hours or 3.5 hours total. And granted, I was at the food bank for at least like 45 minutes of that. But it's a strain. I wish we had better transit here. I was listening to a guy, so I was at this. Anyway, so, okay, I was getting off track. Life after layoffs. Great info. But if you just keep watching info about how to look for jobs and stuff, for me at least, it is so depressing. And I don't mean because I don't have a job. I found this channel a while ago. I thought they have great info. One piece of advice is act as a free agent. Always, never assume company loyalty, which I never did. But it just gets depressing to hear that. And I wish workers just knew, like, yeah, don't just act like a free agent. Act in common, like, defense of workers. Unionize. 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 Strike. General strike. But been applying to jobs, like trying to craft a resume and good cover letters. And again, with the resume, like highlighting accomplishments. Because I can tell you too, from looking at resumes myself, basically they're just proof that you exist. For me, at least. I know for other people, like they're more. But also, because we were hiring like supposedly an entry-level position, it was not in truth. It's like a very complex job I was doing. We were getting people who just didn't have that much experience writing resumes, and I could tell. And I just basically looked at it as, okay, they're all like really dull to read, just black on text on white, like nothing stands out. But I view it as they don't know, like they never got the training. Unfortunately, we don't teach this right, and unfortunately, there's all kinds of factors that go into how we pick people for work. And also what I realized too is a lot of people just are not taught to write well or never learn it well in the first place. And writing a resume is a whole different skill unto itself. I really would have liked, or still would like, some assistance on that. If anyone is willing to do that, I'd pay you. If you want to do it. There are professional services that do it. They just charge way too much. And I'm like, come on, just be a pal. And I've tried getting friends do it, and they inevitably almost never follow up. So it's like, okay, I'll be willing to pay someone to do that. But try and tailor it as much as possible for each job. Sometimes the jobs, like they seem like my resume already kind of fits. And then I'll try and craft a cover letter for each one that makes sense, that doesn't oversell myself, that doesn't make me seem overly eager. I just view it as, like, I know my worth. I want to see if I'm an asset. I want to see if we want to talk more. If the company seems really great, I'll maybe mention something like that. But otherwise, I'll just try to keep it down to earth and straightforward. And just really, I'm just showing them who I am. And I want to see who they are. And generally speaking in life, I find that's all I want to do. I want to find out who you are. I generally don't want to convince people of stuff or want to change them. I'm like, show me who you are. If you're not going to, I'll make you show me who you are. Like, meaning, I'll try not to alter myself for you, and I'll let who you are come out. And I saw that at work where, yeah, all kinds of nasty stuff happened. And that's aside from that creep being a lecherous pig with me who's living his dirty little double life. But I didn't do anything for that. He just started doing it. He was pretty bold. But I've been networking too, and part of networking is just having fun. Like when I say networking, I know people wonder, like, how do you network? I never fucking just straight up ask for work. I just try and make friends. I just ask people about themselves. I say, hey, what you order? If we're at a restaurant or coffee shop or whatever, hey, what you're eating? What's that? What's the significance? What do you do? Where do you live? All that stuff. And if we get talking, if I find something about them that's like, yeah, they hire or whatever, and like I'll mention, like, yeah, I was laid off, I'm looking for work, whatever. But I keep it real casual because I don't want favors from them. I want to be friends. Like, I want them to show me who they are. And the good thing is, there's so many people out there. You keep it moving. Don't fixate on one person. And if we run, here's the beauty of being in these groups that I believe in too. So I was at a fundraiser for Ciclavia, the Open Streets project, which is just a joy. I put up so many videos from that, and mostly as YouTube shorts from a few weeks ago. And they're going to have another one in on Vermont and Exposition Boulevard, I believe, June 18th or something. But anyways, they were doing their fundraiser. I met people there, and we just talked. I didn't even talk about work that time. Oh, I did kind of in passing, but I wasn't trying to get a job. But it's great because I was meeting people there who like know stuff, who have knowledge of the city, who have been around the world and all that. It's like, great. I may see them again next time I see them. And some people I did see from before, or at least one person. But it's like when you see them again, now I'm a friendly face. When I see them again after that, they know, like, oh, it's like, here's Angelo again. He's a friend. And I'm a fellow cyclist and transit advocate and all the great benefits of what I guess I could call universal transit. We have the idea of universal healthcare and universal education. Let's get universal transit. Well, what was I saying? Transit? Transit. Universal Tron viewing. Universal transit. So it would cut across so many things and help alleviate problems as far as mental health, racial inequities, gender inequities, housing shortages, all kinds of things. Physical health, certainly, the health of our streets, our environment, being able to get better jobs, all that, and that's a whole other issue. But there was that, and then I went to a writers' conference yesterday. That was a ton of fun. And it sounds funny to say it's a ton of fun. It's just a quiet little thing. But I was just talking to people. And, you talk to one person, sort of peel off, talk to another, and then I'm talking to one person. And the other person I was just talking to is there. So now we're all talking together. And we're all getting to know each other. I'm seeing them at different groups. And again, networking. I didn't even tell anyone about my job situation yesterday. I was just trying to enjoy it. I was asking people about what they do. They were asking me my thoughts on stuff. Now, it was for book writers, but I loved that because it's research for a screenplay I'm writing. And I wanted to be around writers and see what it's like to be a book writer. And there was so many great panels and discussions. And there's not many restaurants around there. I got to say, by the LA Convention Center, what the hell? It's all like commercial buildings. Where does everybody go when they go out of there? Like, don't you want business? There was a 7-Eleven down the street. I'm like, come on, man, that's not real food. But that was great too, and especially good for my mental health. It was great to be out, great to go out on the metro. Metro service is nowhere near as rapid as it should be. I think we could have such a better connected city if it was running with great frequency and ran later into night. Like, what the hell? Does LA just fall asleep at 11 at night? What I kind of learned is a lot of it does. There's not really anybody out because we don't have those dense areas in many ways. Some areas a little bit, but dense areas where people can be out and be comfortable at night and have a social life, unless it's a destination, like meaning you drive there, you go to the bar, and of course that's problematic for driving back. But if the metro closes at 11, how do you take a train home? You can't. And that's aside from, we don't have the services here for people who use the metro as a de facto shelter. And so we fail them. And then, if they're having fits or, if they're in crisis, they just need help. It's unpleasant. It can be stressful. I kind of just let it, just ride with it and go with it. Also, I'm not quite as averse to saying to someone, hey, just cool it or whatever. If I have to, I rarely ever do that because it's usually not going to help and it's not necessary. But I want to be the good presence. So, if people see me and feel comfortable, like, hey, I'm approachable. I'm not going to mess with anyone. I like to be that person where, again, I'm visible so people can see, especially older people, smaller people, smaller in stature, women, that they see at least there's someone else with eyes on what's going on here. Not that I want any incidents, not anything like that. But it can be stressful and it's unpleasant and then it's dirty too. And they are doing a better job, I have to say, Metro, of cleaning. But again, I was waiting for trains and stuff and it wasn't too bad. But it was, aside from that, it's great. I just had such a great feeling of accomplishment coming from that writers conference. I'm so glad. I met several people. We had good connections. I like that it wasn't loud. It was actually really quiet. A bunch of writers, go figure. But there wasn't like, it wasn't a bar or anything, so we could just talk calmly, and it was like no stress. It was peaceful. See people in the halls. It's weird. This convention center is just like open to the public, which is actually pretty cool, but it's just kind of weird to me. It's like there aren't many public spaces like that in LA where you could just walk in and sit down and go to the bathroom, and didn't seem like anybody stopping them. Yeah, there was security there, but they were mostly just directing people on where to go. There was a RuPaul Drag Con next door too. I guess it was a different part of the convention because I didn't know where to go at first. So I saw everybody walking in there, and I could tell they were, like this was clearly some like drag event. But I didn't know, like, do we all go in here together? It turned out it was like another part of the building. But I thought that was cool that they were there. I was glad for them. And then, a bunch of weirdo fundamentalists were out there heckling them, or not, you can't even say heckling, just they're whining, droning. Fortunately, they were very outnumbered, but that was great to be at. It was so just, I don't even say like hugely elating or elating. Like I wasn't like hugely elated or anything. It was just like such a good experience where I felt fulfilled when I got home, got to sleep early. And it helped me because if I don't have experiences like that, again, the thoughts of that creep at work and his lecherous stares and playing mind games with me and to isolate me and manipulate me and show that he was like clearly trying to like craft the words for me, almost from him to form the words that would come out of my mouth saying, "Ooh, you're a cool guy. Well, why don't I get your number? We talk sometime," or something. An idiot. And of course, he denied it all when I reported HR. Which, what do you expect? Like he's got practice at this. I have a feeling he's not not like surprised, like, oh, this is my first time. I'm sure he was surprised in a way because he thought, he can get away with this stuff. And he did, basically. He got away with it. Anyways, so that was a great event, and it helps me, and I got to keep doing my writing. I'm still in classes. I don't know what my plans are for the upcoming semester because I do want to keep taking classes. I plan on it, but I got to make sure I have a job and a stable place to live before I just spend more money on classes. Again, trying to save money, trying to eat right, exercise, all that's supremely important for me now. It always was, but it's like that right there. Like if I didn't have this stuff, it would break me. Everything I've gone through. The sexual harassment alone would break me, let alone the other abuse at work that I went through and witnessed, let alone, just having to live with that trauma day in, day out, going there. It hit me in waves. The sexual harasser, he still, by the way, like he was still playing on his feeling of superiority, like his pride and sense of accomplishment in feeling he's smarter than everyone and got away with sexually harassing me. Like he would hang out by my office like needlessly and like be on his phone texting. Like he knew exactly what he was doing, and I knew there's no point in reporting that. HR is not your friend. It's like, just note it. Or hanging out by my office joking with someone when it's like he could do this somewhere else. He doesn't need to stand right outside my door for 10 minutes. But he enjoyed that. It was not an accident. It wasn't like, oh, I feel terrible what I did to Angelo. He did not. From what I understand and what I believe about him and have seen in him, which is the more uncomfortable I got, the greater the thrill it was for him, which was extremely unnerving and just traumatizing. But what can I do other than, like, if I just tread water, I'm going to sink. I have to keep going forward, keep moving, not worry about, oh, do I have enough time for this and that? There's never enough time. I'm unemployed and there's not enough time. I've already had to do so much this morning. I got up at 3:40. I didn't even work out. It's Sunday. I want to let my body recover somewhat. And had to do laundry, iron my clothes, just making breakfast, taking a shit. All this stuff, it takes time. Now, making this video, I want to apply for a job or two and then get back to my writing assignment because I have my assignment's due tomorrow for class. Maybe watch a movie. It's still important for me to read. By the way, when I was at the bookstore, so it was in Culver City. It was really cool to be there. I was like, okay, may as well get a book. Yeah, I'm unemployed, but first of all, I thought it would go to support Ciclavia. It turns out it didn't, but I was happy to support the bookstore because they were big supporters of the Culver City bike lanes, which now are not going to be fully taken out. Someone explained it to me. I'm like, oh, it's going to make it even worse for drivers. They complained and they want one of the lanes taken out. There's bus lanes and bike lanes, and they're separated from the road with these. They're not like physically separated, really. It's just these plastic paddles that you can just run right over. And then plastic pollards for the bike lanes. But for some of the streets, they're going to merge the bus and bike lane together. But then others, there will still be the separate bike lane and bus lane because I guess they don't have the money to redo the streets. So drivers essentially will be going from a street with one lane of traffic to 2 lanes and then back to 1 lane. So it'll be even worse in many ways because now there's more points of conflict, more people have to merge. People get this feeling of entitlement and invulnerability in their cars, which is understandable in that cars are force multipliers. They lend themselves that to you. You don't lend themselves to you for that purpose. You don't see people's faces really. What you see is this cold, impersonal vehicle, these over-engineered pieces of junk that you have to constantly maintain and store somewhere. And we've designed a country and a continent, basically North America, where you need cars to get around most places. I remember when I first heard about the idea, like just something, like a little trickle of ideas about the problem with cars. And I thought there's something to this. I like this, like whenever I see conventional wisdom challenged, and it seems at least like it was thoughtful and sensible, not just, conspiracy stuff, but somebody was saying how every parking lot in America is a planning failure. And this was years ago. I saw someone write that. I'm like, that sounds good. Like, I mean, something about that, it makes sense. I like that it undermines my conventional thinking. But here's how ingrained I was with thinking cars were the norm and being used to it. I thought, well, if parking lots are a design failure, where are you going to park your cars? I didn't realize you just don't have cars. Or most people, or not even most people. I'd just say, the way cars are used would be changed, and the design of our cities and land use and all that would be changed. Anyways, it's just I can't get into those details anywhere near as the people who actually study it well do. I recommend the good entry point, Not Just Bikes. That's the most famous urbanist YouTube channel, I believe. There's Strong Towns, which they're putting out more great content lately. They kind of didn't put out their own produced videos as much. They were putting out just like sort of live streams or podcasts. Active Towns is another one. They do like daily interviews. And then there's a whole bunch of other great YouTube channels that are popping up. Nimesh in Los Angeles, City Beautiful. What's the other one? Damn it. It's something, Yet Another Urbanist. There's a couple channels with urbanism in the title. LEJ. Did I say Nimesh in Los Angeles? I'm pretty sure I did. He does really good ones. So many, Heartland Urbanist. There's so many that are popping up. Like one called like DX Urbanist or Docs Urbanist or something, I forget. I think his name is Tom Chin Walks. He did several videos in LA and I think now he's in New York. But there's so many other ones too. There's one I saw called Free Range Asian. I forget what city he was in. Was he in LA? Maybe not. I don't remember. But these channels just keep popping up and I'm like, this is amazing. This is awesome. And then I see the videos blow up. And something engineering studio. Okay, there's a bunch. If you start finding one and watching those, YouTube will start recommending more of them. Or you can just look up urbanism on YouTube. But those explain the benefits better than me. If you're curious, look. If you are skeptical, well, if the evidence bears out that these are wrong, you'll find out they're wrong. So show me who you are. That's my message. It's just show me who you are. But I want you to show me who you are. I don't want to just accommodate you. I want to enlighten you, and I want you to enlighten me with showing me who you are. Don't accommodate me. Click like on the video, subscribe. I got to look for jobs. I got to get moving, everybody. Let's go. Let's do this. All right. Prayers up for Angelo to get a job. A good job somewhere. I don't know why I'm looking there. I'm just looking at my notebooks thinking that they're going to help me. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.